So I wanted to ask you, how influential are parents on our upbringing, on our maturing, on our life overall?
Well, that is an interesting question. And it's a paradox as well. I think it's a real paradox. For me, like the what I like what I like to be is an example, okay? And an example as simple as how life needs to be lived. Yeah, like in a way, like chicken, you know, they just show how you live life. You eat, and you do it, and then you believe that the other one will do it like you or differently. It's not so. Yeah, in a way, I think that's the only thing you can do as a parent. So you can't do something directly. Whatever you try to do directly, it's in a way you do it for your child. You know, you do it for your child. Like my child needed to be understood, so I will understand my child even if it's crazy what he says. You know, like, yeah. But you know, so that is, I'm sure, what is not working. That you give your child what you missed. Yeah, that is because of course so the most difficult thing to do is to see the reality of your child as a reality you can't see. So you need to see that you can't see it. Wow. So that you only see, well, I see little Bart in my son. I don't see my son. And that I have to live with that. But okay, if I'm true to myself and I treat my little Bart better and better and better, and I learn him how to live life, then I can be sure that the other one is watching me, like my son is watching me, you know, like, and that he will get something. Yeah. But whatever his life is about, so what he comes here to learn, I can't influence that. And that it depends. And we are abused by our children. You know, I abused my parents. I put them in a role, and I'm sure it's a role they don't want to be in. But, you know, I saw that in them and only that. And of course, my parents are far more than that. But all the rest, I just, I deleted all the things. And I just kept to the, well, in my case, it was a little bit a not so happy story, and mostly it's what we make of our childhood. We make them like paradise, and that then we put under the carpet all the negative feelings, or we make it like, you know, like they didn't see me, or, you know, one didn't see me, and then of course there is another side I don't want to see, and I put under the carpet. So it's yeah, I think really I say a lot to clients, because it's a question that is very frequently, because a lot of people are really, as they don't have any control about their own child, they want their own children to be happier than they are themselves. That's impossible. And the other thing I say is, if you have a child and that child is 12, it is as conscious as you were at 12. How conscious is that? So children don't know themselves. They don't have themselves. So they don't have any receptor, because it's only the knowing of myself, the integration of those two parts, which can allow me to have contact. So to give contact and to receive contact. And that's what children is. I always say, if you still can live it, that at one day, maybe if you are 80, you have had a moment of contact with your child, which is a little bit true, then you're okay.
Wow.
But, you know, and all the rest is blah, blah, blah. A lot of blah, blah, blah.
Wow. So,
but it's amazing, you know, they grow by themselves. It's life. They grow by themselves. They have an own life, an open perception, their own culture, their own time, which is really, there is always a generation, you know, you know, I'm born in 63. Well, my son is not born in 63. That is really clear, which makes that the influences he has in his are totally different. So it's kind of, yeah, and well, with words we don't reach there. So his words are to me are as honest as my words were to my dad. So I don't make too much illusions. And my son, he says to me, I find it funny because it's so, and he believes it, you know, he really believes it. He says, in what state, he knows I do man groups also, that he finds man groups even more fascinating than the mixed groups, you know, but he says, he can't understand that people come to me. He just can't. He said, in what kind of a state all those men have to be to pay you to come to you? So they must be so desperate. And then he says, and you take all their money. You know, that's me. You know, so he's revealing himself, but, you know, and I really believe him that that is how he sees it now.
Now. Because he doesn't have the reference points of life.
He just can't imagine that I can be a person where somebody gets something. So in his vision, the only possible truth must be that I kind of abuse them. I kind of all those weak lost men. I abuse them. I take the money, and then so it's and well, you know, like well, at his age, I had a really limited view also of my parents.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So that's what we have, you know, and it's kind of really, you know, like, yeah, that is how he sees me. And I really, really believe it, that is what his perception is. That is what he sees. And of course, he is not able to see me. And I have to be okay with that. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not doing anything because it's also his right. It's of course his ego, but I'm not the one. It's not my task to, you know, it's not my task. It's his. He is allowed to see in me whatever he wants to see in me.